Good morning. Welcome back with the MQL Suite Morning Market Report. Margin traded investment carries considerable economic risks, and whoever carries it out under his or her sole responsibility. Therefore, the author of this teaching session assumes no responsibility for any direct or indirect damages in relation to investment decisions taken by the listener. Today is Tuesday, the 2nd July. The Asian stock exchanges are little moved around the parity. Shanghai minus 0.2%, Shenzhen flat, Hong Kong after the holidays reopens in positive territory plus 1.2%, Tokyo is up 0.1%. Beijing has announced the cancellation of property limits for foreign investors in the financial sector from 2020, a year earlier than expected. Furthermore, it will further open its manufacturing sector, including the automotive industry. In Europe, the Eurostoxx 50 index futures opens up 0.2%. United States threatened further duties on goods from the European Union for $4 billion in the context of the dispute over the subsidies to the air sector. At 11 o'clock, the European Council resumes for the appointment of the leaders of the bloc after the black smoke of yesterday to prevent the agreement the reserves of Italy, Croatia, Latvia and Hungary. In Germany, the Statista has published May retail sales readings. The figure disappointed expectations for a positive change, registering instead a decline of 0.6% from minus 1% in April. On an annual basis, the index recorded an increase of 4% after the previous 4.6%. The consensus expected an increase of 2.7%. The BTP starts from 1.96% return in the aftermath of the Council of Ministers that presented a decree law that shields the lower expenses foreseen for income from citizenship and Quota 100. The adjustment reduces the deficit by €7.6 billion compared to the April DEF forecast and reports this year's deficit at 2% agreed with the European Union in December. The provision sets the conditions for making an infringement procedure for excessive debt unjustified. The Deputy Prime Minister, Luigi Di Maio, did not attend the summit last night. In Australia, as widely expected, the Reserve Bank of Australia cuts rates for the second consecutive month, bringing them to the all-time low of 1%. Governor Philip Lowe said that economic growth must accelerate to tighten the labour market, raise wages and bring inflation back to medium and long-term targets of between 2% and 3%. Lowe has also urged a tax reform that, by cutting income taxes, helps to restore the economy. The Australian economy has slowed sharply since mid-2018, as weak wage growth and a record household debt helped dampen consumer spending. Falling house prices have also slowed spending, prompting the central bank to drastically cut its prospects for the economy this year. Economists expect that the Reserve Bank of Australia will make further cuts by the end of this year. In August, it will publish a revised economic forecast, in which its expectations in terms of GDP growth, inflation and unemployment will probably be far from the target. The ratification of the OPEC Plus agreement on the extension of production cuts until March 2020 is scheduled today. In the agenda, in Italy, Istat will publish house prices in the first quarter. The Eurozone production prices in May will be published this morning. Expectations are for minus 0.1% on a monthly basis and plus 1.7% on an annual basis. In the United States, in the afternoon, the ISM index for New York in June will be published, and the weekly stocks of heavy oil production will be published too. It's 10:30. There are few trend indices this morning. Hong Kong is gaining 1.04%. In Europe, the FTSE 100 is gaining 0.18%. The Swiss index is gaining 0.15%. And finally, the FTSE MIB is gaining 0.16%. Among the commodities, the platinum is gaining 0.32% and the palladium is gaining 0.26%. In the forex market, the Australian dollar is mixed with AUD NZD is gaining 0.43%. CAD CHF is gaining 0.11%. CHF yen is depreciating by 0.23%. The euro is mixed. Euro AUD is depreciating by 0.14%. Euro CAD is under the daily parity. Euro yen is depreciating by 0.14%. The pound is weakening. GBP/USD is losing 0.40%, GBP CAD is losing 0.27%, GBP Yen is losing 0.41%, and GBP USD is depreciating by 0.18%. New Zealand dollar is weakening again. NZD CAD is losing 0.19%, NZD Yen is losing 0.35%, and NZD USD is losing 0.11%. Finally, USD CHF is on the daily parity. The Australian dollar is the strongest currency this morning, with 1.68% gain on the basket. The Japanese yen is also very strong, it is gaining 1.39% on the basket. On the other hand, the weakest currency is the New Zealand dollar, that is losing 1.37% on the basket. Also, the pound is very weak, with 1.26% loss on the basket. The best performance is recorded by now by Audi NZD with a 0.43% gain. On the other hand, the worst performance is recorded by GBP Audi that is losing 0.36%. That's all for the moment. If you liked our analysis, please leave a like one. Furthermore, I invite you to register on our channel to stay up to date. Have a nice trading!